Have you been putting tons of effort into a job search, but still finding it challenging to secure the interviews that you really want? You're not alone. It's a lot more common than you might think. Let's face it. No one brags about the interview that got away. The odds are high that you are making a basic mistake that many, including very seasoned professionals, overlook. This is a crime because this upfront step, can save you countless hours of frustration, not to mention help you land your dream job faster. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how to recognize the problem and then, most importantly, how to fix it. Stick with me until the end because the final step is a real game changer strategy that can transform your approach forever. Ready to get started? Let's dive right in. Most people make one critical mistake when applying for jobs, something that gets them eliminated instantly. But I'll tell you what it is in just a moment. But first, let's talk about a simple tweak to your resume that can dramatically increase your chances of landing an interview. Step 1. Fine-tune your resume to match the position you are applying for. Ever wonder why your resume isn't landing interviews even though you thought you were qualified? That's right. You probably missed something. So do this simple thing for every single job you apply for. If I were doing this manually, and you might want to try this, I would print out the job listing and then circle or highlight what I consider to be the keywords on the listing. You can do this without printing it out, of course, but I like to do this type of thing on paper. And by the way, keywords in this situation include anything that is required or preferred. So for example, if it says MBA required, circle that. Now it's time to fine-tune your resume. Make sure it has as many of the keywords circled on the job description as possible. Review your resume and work as many missing ones in as you can. Don't lie. If you don't have experience with SAP, for example, don't say that you do. But get as many of those keywords as you can on the resume. You can do this by hand, or you can get AI to help you. Do that by either copying the job description into the AI tool and then asking it to review your resume, identifying missing skills in comparison to the job description. There are paid tools that will do this for you. You might want to look for one that offers a free trial. But if you want to do it yourself, you can use one of the free tools like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot. Next, you'll want to identify your potential problem spots. So let's talk about step 2, which is identifying the weak spots in your resume and prepare to address them. Nobody's perfect, right? The trick is to identify those weak spots as your prospective employer will see them and figure out how you're going to address them when they are brought up during the interview. And you know they will. That's a crucial mistake, not identifying and creating an answer. You probably know some of them, but others may not be so obvious. And the goal here is for you to avoid looking like a deer in the headlights when this issue is brought up during an interview. So get your answers down pat before you head out for the interview. How do you identify these not so always obvious weaknesses? Again, ask the AI tool to compare your resume to the job listing and identify any weaknesses or deficiency. This can be done while you're fine-tuning your resume, but it's really critical that you come up with a response. Step 3, optimize for the bots, those awful automated screening tools. This is especially difficult for those just starting out, but the problem is not unique to them, not hearing back when they apply for a job. Have you ever copied and pasted the same resume for multiple jobs? Be honest about it. If so, you're making a big mistake. Let's look at how the automated tracking software works and then what you can do about it so you don't get automatically rejected. It extracts contact information, work history, education, and skills from the resume. Then it stores the extracted data in a database. Then, and only then, does it search for candidates. Hiring managers will search the database by typing in the keywords. And this is where you're going to fall out if you don't have those keywords in. So if you think that they sit there and they weed through the hundreds or resumes that come in response to a particular job listing, it's not. And this is where we say that 75% are never seen by human eyes. And then the automated tool ranks and scores the qualifications against the job description. So When you set up your resume, here are some things that you can do. Number one, use a standard Word document and save it in a .docx format. That's number one. Number two, don't use a PDF unless the portal where you're submitting your resume specifically says it accepts a PDF format. For if it's looking for a Word document and you have a PDF, you may not even make it into that database. Number three, use simple formatting. Number four, don't use acronyms. The bot won't understand them, so spell everything out, especially if it's a keyword. Number five, put your name, email address, and phone number prominently at the top of your resume, because you want to make sure if they pick your resume that they're able to contact you. And number six, use basic language. Remember, the bot is the one looking at the resume, so you just need to get by them. You don't need to impress them, and in fact, you can't impress them. If you incorporate these tips when setting up your resumes, you won't get weeded out for an irrelevant reason. So you've done everything that we suggest, but you're still missing a requirement that the description says is key, but you don't agree. So what can you do? Step 4, maneuver around the bots if needed. Let's say you are missing a key requirement in the job listing. You may not think it's relevant, but that bot has no ability to see that. Remember, it's just looking for keywords. I'm going to show you a sneaky way to work around this without breaking any of the rules. Now, remember, don't lie. It might be tempting to add, for example, that you have an MBA. What earthly difference can it make if you got one 20 years ago? You may be right, but they want one. So why shouldn't you lie about it? For starters, if you're caught and you stand a very good chance of being terminated, even if it's 10 years later. Do you want this hanging over your head? And of course, if they discover that you lied during the interview process, the odds are very high that your application will be automatically rejected. They'll think, if they lied about this, what else are they lying about? So what can you do if you don't have that skill or that requirement that they say they want? Get creative. Let's look at a few scenarios. Example number 1, where it says Ivy's preferred. Personally, I hate this. Maybe because I didn't go to one of the Ivy League schools, but I hate being excluded for a reason that has nothing to do with the job, at least as I see it. But let's ignore my personal feelings and see what you can do. What about a certificate, a one-day seminar offered by one of the Ivies that you can list under other education and other training? It might get you past the automated bot. In a pinch, you might list an online class, but don't take these approaches if you haven't attended the classes. The odds are high that if you make it past the screening part, you will be questioned extensively during the course of the interview about your course. Another example number 2, let's say they say bachelor's degree required or preferred, but you don't have one. Again, don't lie, but are you working on one? Can you put something like BA expected in 2028 or 2030 or whatever? Again, expect to be questioned about it. So if you're going to do this, make sure you're in a program. You get the idea. Find a way to creatively, without lying, get that keyword on your resume so you get past the bot. And by bot, I mean the automated screening tool in this case. Okay, step 5. Find the best job openings for positions you are qualified for or almost qualified for. Again, head over to your favorite AI tool and start your search. I'm not saying don't look on LinkedIn or Indeed or wherever you like to search for job openings, but add AI to the mix to narrow down your choices. Then put in your requirements. So for example, you might put in something like job openings for director of accounts payable that permit remote work. If you don't put in any location in the AI tool, it's going to read the location from your computer's data, which may or may not be what you want. The first time I tried this playing around with the tool, I was shocked to see that not only did it know what city I lived in, it was able to narrow it down to the small town. So let's say you are in the office and you want a shorter commute. You might add something like only look at jobs within 10 miles of X and put your hometown in. Now, while putting in your exact requirements may get you openings that fit you to a T, it will also limit your options, so you might want to be a little bit more open. You might add knowledge of SAP if you have it, or whatever. And then you can repeat the search, refining your requirements depending on the results you receive and how flexible you are in this regard. And then, of course, periodically repeat your search because new positions are added regularly. Step 6. What if none of this works? You're still not getting any calls or you're still not getting any responses. Sometimes they simply have too many applicants. Having 3, 4, or 500 applicants for a single position is not unheard of. And let's be fair, very few hiring managers are going to weed through every single one. Sometimes they'll just take the first bunch, maybe the first 5 to 10 decent candidates, and then move on. But they are certainly not going to admit that. What's more, as you may know, many of the best jobs, the ones that you really want, are never listed. So what can you do? The answer is simple. Find your job prospects using the hidden job market. Talk to folks you know about prospective job opportunities. This is just the tip of the hidden job market that's floating right there in front of you if you know where and how to look. You can find out how to tap that hidden job market by clicking on the link that has appeared on your YouTube screen or clicking the link in the hidden job market in the description. Good luck.